Good morning. My name is Tracy Justice, and I am the Be Bold coach and consultant. I help leaders do two things. Number one, I help leaders lead with a Be Bold mindset. The Be Bold mindset is about taking a bold chance on yourself, your ideas, so that you live life aligned to your life's purpose. And the second thing that I help leaders do is I help leaders use that new being, that new awareness, right? Like that new way of being in the world, the new way of showing up in this world. And we leverage that to be able to lead, build, sustain diverse, inclusive, anabolic teams. So, this is episode 4, but I wanted to talk about what anabolic means, because sometimes we use words that we think that everybody else knows what it means, but we don't but not everybody's on the same page. And I Googled anabolic and it started talking about steroids. So I wanted to share what anabolic meant. And I'm getting this definition from IPEC. So anabolic energy is constructive, it's expanding, it's rejuvenating, and it's sustainable. So what does that mean? That means that when you are a leader who is intentionally cultivating an anabolic environment, that means that when people come in, they automatically feel heard. They feel welcome. They feel loved. They feel embraced. They feel like this is a place where they can grow. And so that's what I mean by when I say anabolic, when I use the word anabolic. And then also, before I jump into today's show, let's talk about the Be Bold challenge, right? But before I do that, let me just talk about it here first. So over the weekend, actually over last week up until actually even yesterday, had a conversation with a gentleman, great conversation with a gentleman. And a few questions that I was asked was, who do you work with exactly though? Right? Like, so when I say the word leaders, right? Because I say that I work with leaders, what does leaders mean? Like, what does that even mean? So first, before I even jump into that, first I want to say, like, when I work with leaders, I use an assessment tool, which is the Energy Leadership Index Assessment. And with this Energy Leadership Index Assessment, what I love about this tool is that what it does is that it gives you a baseline of how you show up energetically in this world, right? So it's different from other personality. It's different from other assessments because it doesn't really measure your personality per se. It looks at like how you show up with 7 different levels in this world, like with 7 different levels of energy. And so what that does is that it gives you an idea of how you show up. So do you show up depending on the different 7 levels of energy? Do you look at this world? Do you come from a victim mentality? Do you look at the world from a victim perspective? Or do you look at the world from a fighter perspective or a rationalizer? Or do you come off as a caregiver? Do you look at the world from a caregiving perspective, or an opportunist perspective, or a visionary perspective, or the last, a creator perspective? And we use these different ways of how you show up energetically in this world. And we look at 3 different starting points for leaders. So there's 3 different places that leaders can start at. The first place is, are you an aspiring leader? Are you a leader who is discovering yourself? So this may be somebody who maybe, you've been working in a particular, industry or a particular career for a certain amount of time, for a certain amount of years, and maybe you're ready to make a change. Maybe you're ready to transition into something new, but you're just not quite sure what that could look like for you. Or maybe you're just trying to figure out where it is that you belong in this life. Maybe you haven't worked somewhere for a long period of time, but you're ready to get out into the workforce, but you're just not really sure what that looks like. So we would use that energy assessment information and put it together with what exactly you're looking for or what your passions are. And we would start at, maybe, it's about discovering, exploring what your path could be. The second starting point, leaders that I work with have the second starting point where they can start their journey from is an emerging leader? Are you an emerging leader? So you would fall into this category if you've been in leadership for about maybe two or 3 years. So you're pretty new and you're trying to develop, or you're trying to find where you stand in this world, or where you stand in your organization, or whatever circle you serve in. And you're trying to figure out, how do I really want my leadership to grow? Well, you would fall within this emerging leader. And the third leader is an established leader. You've been doing this for quite a bit. This is not your first rodeo. But the workforce is changing. The workforce is changing right now. So maybe what would have worked for you maybe about 15 years ago when you first started, it's not going to work for the new generation, right? So how do you reinvent yourself? How do you come from a different place so that you really, you feel aligned with who you feel like you are meant to be, right? So these are the 3 different types of leaders that I work with. And I just wanted to clarify that. But this is also on my website. If you want to learn a little bit more about what the Be Bold mindset could do for you in your journey through leadership, visit my website at www.beboldbu.com, and you will, there we go, and book a session. Go to my book a session page and book your 45-minute complimentary session, right? Because if you want to have an idea of what being bold looks like for you, what would it look like, how it could change your life, your career, anything, definitely connect with me and let's talk a little bit more about what this energy assessment tool can do for you, and how we can work together to get you from wherever your starting point is to wherever it is you're trying to go. Okay, so got that taken care of. So back to the show. Welcome to the Bold Life Livecast, the Test Drive series. Today, we're going to be talking about love fuels the bold life. But before I get into the love fuels the bold life, I am going to put up the screen for the Be Bold, for the Bold Move Challenge, because this is still going on. Now, remember, join me on this challenge. And if you're going to join me on this challenge, use hashtag Bold Move Challenge. And remember, I'm calling this the Test Drive series because I'm not sure how this is really going to play out, if I'm being totally honest. But I'm willing to put myself out there and just try and learn, right? Because sometimes you don't learn until you do, right? And waiting is a huge stumbling block for most people. The reason why most people can't really do what it is that they want to do with their lives, their dreams, their careers, is because they're just not taking that first bold move. So it's about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I'm giving till November 2nd. So my question is to you is, if you took a bold chance on yourself today, what would you do? And then if you were to look back, like once you get to November 2nd and you look back, would you be able to say like, oh, wow, look at how much I've grown? Like, I just want to see like how many people are actually going to take advantage of this challenge and just join me. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to be by yourself. You can join me on this challenge. Okay, so then I want to share an update, right? Because every week, when you're making a bold move every week, I'm a little thirsty, so I do apologize. But I can't keep talking with a dry mouth. But every week when you're taking a bold move, are you noticing growth from week to week? Are you noticing how you are moving up, or there's things that you're learning that you didn't know before? Or you're exploring yourself. There's things that you're learning about yourself that maybe you didn't know before, or you didn't pay attention to before. So, and like I said, so last week, I've had so much that I was doing, right? I was meeting people, talking to people, just engaging, networking, talking about what I do, and got a lot of great questions. But there was one question that really shook me a bit. Shook me quite a bit. And let's see. Hey, having a hard time seeing you. Ooh, okay, having a hard time seeing you. I'm here. Oh, you can't see me? Thank you for letting me know. I'm not sure what that looks like. So I'm just going to see if you share any more with me, and then I will make adjustments, but I'll just keep going for now. But it's all right, because that's what this bold move challenge is, right? Like sometimes you don't know until you know, and then once you know, you're like, oh, now I know. What can I do from here? So that's fine. So I'll see if let me know if you can't see me, and then hey, we'll figure it out. So I'll keep talking until I get another comment. But yeah, so there was a question that came up last week over the week, and it really stirred me a bit, and I had to share a post because I woke up Monday morning with this message heavy on my heart, and I had to share this. And what I'll say is that when you embark upon the journey of coaching, right? Like I don't know what other, like, you could be in another journey, but this is what I'll say about this particular journey. For coaching, it's just not about telling people, I can help you. This is what you need to do. This is how, hey, let me just give you like this process, and let's work through the process. So let's get it done. For me, it's more than that. For me, coaching is who I am, right? Like it's about me being who I say that I am, so that I can show up for other people, so that people feel that same strength, that same energy, that love, so that they can be what they need to be. So for me, it's really about working on self first. Really, that's my philosophy about leadership, period. The leadership development journey, period. You work on yourself first. But I had a question. And the question was, do you only work with Christians? Do you only work with Christians? And I don't know why it got me, but it got me a bit. And it really helped me to really think about how I'm presenting myself to people and how I'm marketing myself, or, just how I'm sharing myself with people. Here's the thing. So, and it had me questioning, like, who am I? Let me just make that perfectly clear. So who am I? First of all, right? I am a child of God. That's who I am. I believe in God. That's where I draw my strength from. That's what gives me strength. That's where I get my boldness from. That's where I get this walk in authority from. I get it from God, because I know who I belong to. I know whose child I am. So because I know, that's why I'm able to show up in the way that I do. Now, do I use my faith as a weapon? No. Right? Like, no, because if people know anything about me, you know that I've just recently ran for office. And yes, I did run under the Conservative Party. At the same time, I strongly believe, and I have to declare this because this is what I'm feeling off of people, like, I believe in God first. I'm a child of God first. And so therefore, that's why I do what I do. But I don't only work with Christians. I don't only work with people who see themselves as a Christian or not. I work with people because I feel like that's where we find love. That's where the love of God can truly shine. When we stop putting people in labels, in groups, in boxes, and then throwing them away as if, oh, you're no longer cared for. And so I wanted to be clear about that and just let everyone know, as a coach, that's what I believe. I believe in God. But do I use that as a weapon? No. Now, if you are somebody that does believe in God and you're trying to develop your spiritual faith and you're trying to get deeper or find, yes, we can work together on that. But if you're somebody who wants to find love, in everything you do, right? It's not about, right? Like, but this has fueled my topic for today. And I really wanted to talk about love in this sort of way, because I think that is so important. So the reason why I work with leaders, right? Like, what motivates me, what helps me to work with leaders is the fact that I believe that leaders are in a position to impact many people's lives. If you're placed in a circle, whether it's you're over a team, maybe you're over a nonprofit, maybe you're over an organization, maybe you're over a community. If you're a leader, you have every responsibility, and this is what I believe, this is my philosophy, but as a leader, you have every responsibility to work on yourself. Why? Because you're in a position where you impact other people's lives. You're not in a place where you get to, kind of lack in your role of responsibility. People are looking to you. You are an example. You have been placed in that position for a reason. Are you utilizing it to impact people's lives in a positive way, right? Because there are many leaders out there that'll impact people's lives in a very negative way. And so that's one of my passions, why I work with leaders, right? Because I felt like I really needed to define, not only for that person, not proving for another person, but really define for myself, because I'm unclear. I want when people meet me, you are very clear. I love all people, right? And leaders touch my heart because leaders are in a place where they touch people's lives. And so I see leaders as more than just a title, more than just you have a salary now, you have the corner desk, you have the corner office and all that. No, you now are in a position where you can allow yourself to be a conduit of love, right? And when I say love, I do not mean romantic love, right? Like not that erotic love. I'm talking about agape love, that agape love that touches people's lives. See, right now, if you go on LinkedIn, for example, there's a lot of hashtag quiet quitting, right? Hashtag quiet quitting. And really, it's nothing new because there's nothing new under the sun. But what is quiet quitting? People sitting at their desk, acting like they're working, but they're not working. They pretty much gave up. They're not doing anything that you ask them to do, but they are there every day collecting that paycheck. And people look at that and they say, that's horrible. Oh, get quiet. Quitters. Oh, goodness. Oh, God. Okay. I guess I'm being spammed on YouTube, but that's all right. We'll deal with that later. But, where was I? Because that really threw me off. Interesting. But I don't know what I just said, but a conduit of God's love. Being in a position, quiet quitting. That's what I was talking about. People talking about quiet quitting, but there's nothing new, right? Quiet quitting is nothing new. People have been doing this forever, right? Because employees know when you're working with somebody who's then gave up, you know what it's like. But here's what I say. I put it on leaders too. Leaders, if you have that in your team, that means you're not really leading with love. You're not leading from a place of love, because love really answers all these other questions, right? Because we think about DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. We talk about belonging. We talk about trust, accountability, feeling welcomed, feeling heard. If you really lump it all under one umbrella, it's all love. If leaders really found a way, if leaders were able to embody that love and lead from that love, there wouldn't be a need for, like there wouldn't be a need for all these different programs that we have to come up with, but we do. We have to address belonging. We have to address acceptance. We have to address inclusiveness. We have to address all these things. But hey, if leaders would lead with love, you'd answer all of that. You'd become the antidote to quiet quitting. You'd become the antidote to people feeling burned out. You would be the antidote to all of that. But we're not showing up in that sort of way. And that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I look at, because I looked at when I was working, and I was working for a leader who was just so transactional. And this is not to put this person down. It's just to say that, you know what? I realized that I needed more and I wanted more. And I realized that I had to be the more. Oh, you can't see me? That is so weird. I'm not sure why I cannot be seen on here. But I guess we'll just turn it into an audio. Well, just because I guess I'm not, I guess my face is not being seen on here, but I'll figure that issue out afterwards. Looks like I have about 10 more minutes. Oh my gosh, I really spent a lot of time talking on that. But, what am I passionate about? Oh, okay, Lisa, thank you. Well, I guess maybe I can't be seen on LinkedIn, but that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. But so that's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about helping leaders lead from a place of love because that's what the bold life is about. Like when I think of a story, the story that God has given to me of how I envision what this love looks like, right? So if you look at it like our hearts are, thank you, Lisa, for watching today. Kudos. I just wanted to give you a shout out. Thank you so much for joining in today. And thank you, Karen. I'm telling you, know what? Here's the thing. When God sends you people that support you and believe you and who are part of your life, who will support you, you better embrace them. You better embrace them. I thank God for every single one of you. You know what I mean? But yes, but going back to, I'm sorry, I digress. I just want to give shout out to the people who are here supporting me because it means a lot to me. But I'm passionate. So here's the story. Back to what I'm saying. Back to the story. So God is showing me, right? Like, so each and every single one of us, we have like this heart that's kind of like coal. Ooh, I'm getting a little deep. So let me just kind of get with the story, right? So coal. And when you think about coal, right? Coal is black. It's absorbing. It absorbs energy. It's absorbing energy everywhere we go. Our hearts are absorbing energy because it's meant to absorb, but it's meant to absorb the energy of love because that's what gives us strength. That's what I believe. That's what I believe fuels us, that gives us the energy to keep going so that we're able to impact people's lives as leaders. But if we're not present, right? That's the thing about coaching, right? Coaching helps us to realize that if you are not present, then you are not able to really receive the love that's coming to you. All of that love that's shining on you for you to share with others, you're not receiving that. You're receiving other things. And if you're not careful, your heart is absorbing all these things that are not going to do you well, right? Because we know out of the heart comes the issues of life. If you're not guarding your heart, if you're not present on that, here, I wanted to share this. Let me share this. Let's take off my banner so that's not in the way. Okay, so if you look at this, right? Our consciousness, there's only 5% of it. Consciousness. So when I'm talking about mind, body, we're looking at consciousness and subconscious. This is an iceberg that you see here, right? We're only 5% conscious about what's going on in our lives, right? Like it's our power of awareness. If you're not present with that 5%, you know what that 5% is going to do? That 5% is going to either go to the future, right? So then you might find yourself dealing with a lot of anxiety, or you're going to find it go back to the past where you're going to feel depressed, right? Because it's trying to hold you back. So you feel depressed. But when you're not present, so what happens is that when you're in the future and you're stuck in the past, you're just absorbing energy. Your heart, that heart of coal is just absorbing energy from everything else, not the things that are going to serve you. That's going to be, that's going to serve you and help you so that you can help others. No, you're just going to get caught up in other people's stories, other people's mess, not sure who you are, right? But if you're able to take that 5%, because that's the only, that's all you have. But if you're able to be very mindful, be a great steward of that 5% that you have and keep it in the present time, you allow your heart to receive that coal, that heart of coal, you allow it to receive the love that's coming from God or coming from whatever source you believe that has love. If it's not of love, it's not of God. If it's love and you don't want to use God, hey, I'm not here to judge people on their path or their journey, because here's the thing. I don't want God to judge me in that sort of way. All I want to do is help as leaders. What are you doing with that 5%, right? Like if you're not present and allowing the love to fill that heart up, it's going to stay cold. It's going to stay black, continue to absorb. Here's where I want to help leaders get to the point. I want to help leaders get to the point where they're able to take that 5% that you see there, that you're able to take that 5% and constantly invest it in the present moment. Constantly invest it in the present time. Constantly investing in the present time. Right? And then when you're able to invest in the present time, that love is able to transform that coal and turn it into a diamond. Now, I know that it's been debunked. That's not true, but I'm telling you right here, right? Like if you think about what coal means deep down, coal is not like the coals that you buy at a barbecue, because you're about to go grilling. I'm not talking about that kind of coal. I'm talking about coal in the sense of years and time of debris, all kinds of debris coming together, compacting, right? So if you're able to take that 5% of your consciousness and be present in the moment, be present in the present time, you allow the love, the energy of love to constantly beat upon that coal and change it, transform it, because it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight, but you allow that energy to transform that coal, and eventually that coal becomes a diamond, right? It becomes crystal clarity. It provides clarity. It becomes crystal clear. And you guess what? And you know what happens after that? That love, that shining, you're no longer just absorbing it. Now you're reflecting. You're reflecting that love. As a leader, are you reflecting love in the circles that you serve in? Are you reflecting love? Are you about love? See, we're at a point where people just want to talk so much about words. And as leaders, it is so important. As leaders, it is so important for you to embody this love. Because we're talking about how do we change the workforce? How do we change our communities? How do we change whatever that you're not happy about? Well, it does begin with you. If you're someone that you're looking and you're like, I wish this would change and I wish that would change, that change has to first begin with you. And it's the power of love that fuels us, that gives us energy, that puts us on our path to be bold. It begins with love. Bold is not like, oh, girl, do you? Or, hey, man, hey, bro, you got, no. It's none of that superficial fake stuff. I'm talking about deep boldness. I'm talking about the boldness that encourages you when you feel down and you feel sad. So, look, I only have about 3 minutes, but that's all right. But here's because here's the thing. Whatever it is that you want to do, you have to be crystal clear on what it is that you're trying to do and how you really want to impact the world, right? Because this bold move is for people who are wanting to impact other people's life, who want to impact humanity in such a great way. But for some reason, you feel like you're less than. For some reason, you feel like you're not good enough. For some reason, you feel like you just don't have it all. But I'm here to say you do. You do. You are fully equipped. My faith is not used as a weapon to beat you up and make you feel like you're less than. No, my faith is used to strengthen me. And because I feel strengthened in it, I'm just here to strengthen you. I don't need to speak a whole lot of words to you because words don't do anything. We know that. Words do nothing. You know how like you've met people and they say a few things and you're like, you don't really mean what you say. You just say those things. Are you a leader and you feel that you can be, oh my gosh, you could be impactful if you just had the Be Bold mindset, if you understood a little bit more what the Be Bold mindset is, how to be bold, how to take a bold move, how to move out and do what it is that you feel like you're being called to do. You know? I mean, I don't know. So when somebody asked me that, when somebody asked me that over the weekend, do you only work with Christians? My answer is no. I work with people who want to be impactful, who want to help other people. You know that God has given you something. God has put you in a place. I don't know what that is. You can be a makeup artist, whatever it is that how can you be impactful in that and touch somebody else's lives? Nothing that you're doing is too small. Don't ever let anybody make you feel like anything that you do is too small. Okay, I'm going a little bit over. Okay, so it's 30 minutes now. So I'm gonna end it now with my spiel. But just remember, if you're a leader, are you impacting people's lives? What's fueling you? Is it love? Is it love? If it's not love and you want it to be love, let's talk. Right? Let's talk. So, goodness gracious, this one got me all pumped up. Oh my gosh. But Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, right? Like, so, here's what I'll say. With love, clarity, and confidence, may you be bold and, my gosh, be you. Thank you.